Welcome everyone to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we welcome you to another live broadcast of the Real Talk Sports Show. And we are very thankful to those of you, first of all, who are watching on the replay now on Twitter TV. It's official. Periscope is gone. Big shout out to those of you watching on YouTube, on Facebook Live, and on Twitch. And of course, we also appreciate those of you watching on demand on those particular channels as well. And to the live TV audience on Roku, on the C Room Sports and Entertainment Network, and on the Phoenix Media Entertainment Group. Thank you, and thank you again. Well, anytime we have a show, we want to introduce you guys to one of the most beautiful women on sports talk radio or TV. We simply know her as the Queen. Miss Tree Dolman is in the building.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome.
Well, anytime you have a queen, you also must have a champion. Not one, but two-time Super Bowl winner. A all-around nice guy as well. Mr. Tyrone Poole is now in the building.
Hello, everybody. Hello, TV land and radio land. Hello, Miss Tree, and hello, Minister. Hope everybody is doing excellent on this tremendous Tuesday.
Sure, we are, in fact, doing excellent. Thank you, and thank you again. Okay, let's pop it up for those of you watching here. These are some of our topics for tonight. The Bravos right now are closing in on another NL East Division title. So we'll peek in and see if we can get an update from them. WNBA playoff update. We'll speak to our lovely Miss Tree Dolman. She can tell us a little bit about what's happening with the WNBA. Hawks Media Day open practice actually is this Saturday. Their first practice, which is actually, it says, should be October the 2nd, I believe. We're going to have an NBA guy coming on with us, you call him Mr. Controversy. Raphael from 3-Point Conversion will join us. Then, of course, we're going to talk some high school football. Jonesboro's got a big game coming up against Woodward Academy after a big win last week against their hometown rivals. Some college football, lots of stuff going on in the top 25. And we also want to spotlight and take a look at an Ohio State football player who went off during the game. We'll talk about that. Spotlight on Georgia Tech with our good buddy Rob McKenzie from yellowjackets.com, and of course NFL highlights. We're gonna look at our Rams, we're gonna look at the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Lions for Miss Tree Dolman. And of course we're going to talk about our Atlanta Falcons, as the Orlando Ledbetter will join us later on in the broadcast. All right, well, Tree, we're going to throw the ball to you kind of quickly today. What did you see with the WNBA? Looks like the playoffs are in full swing.
The players are in full swing. So unfortunately, the reigning champs are knocked out. So we won't see Seattle vying for the title. They got knocked out. And so the semis start tonight. There's actually a game on right now between Connecticut and Chicago. So we'll see how that goes. It's the best of 5 out of the series. And like I say, it's some good ball that's being played. Phoenix is playing really well. Connecticut is playing really well. Las Vegas is playing really well. So I'm just looking to see who's going to win the title, but it's going to be a great series. So you can always watch. They're showing the games on television. And then you can also purchase the WNBA ticket, and you can watch all of those games at your leisure. But great basketball being played. And like I said, the reigning champs, the Seattle Storm, they're out. So
Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is the team that Sue Bird plays on. So there was a kind of an emotional farewell. The Phoenix Mercury knocked them out. How cool was that to kind of see them sending her off like that?
Well, it is because she's such a great basketball player. And even at her age, to play at the level that she does play at, and she's loved by all of the fans and just everywhere. She uses her platform to make a difference in the world. She does great on the basketball court. I mean, just a wonderful person to watch. So it was emotional to see her running off. And of course, we don't know, right, if it will be her last. But she definitely played great, and it was sad to see her get knocked out. But again, Phoenix, they're playing great ball, and so I'm not surprised because they are really playing great team ball, moving the ball, and shooting some shots that are just shooting the lights out of teams and playing good defense.
Tyrone, what do you think about the idea now WNBA kind of has this little mini spotlight? I know football's going on, but to see the ladies kind of get their time to shine.
I don't think it's a mini. I just think it's basically, it's another sporting event being played. Some people may not pay attention, but that's their fault. But the WNBA, I love seeing women's sports. I think women are, especially the WNBA compared to the NBA. The WNBA, I think the women are more fundamentally sound. They are following the rules a little bit better, and sometimes it makes the game more interesting. And if I had to teach someone, I would take a tape of a WNBA game versus an NBA game to teach the fundamentals of the game. But to see Seattle knocked out, as the old saying goes, they were the champions until somebody beat the champions. So now the title is wide open. And like Tree said, you got Phoenix, you got all these teams that are vying for that championship. So a new champion will be crowned for 2021.
Well, Tyrone, you said something about if you had to have people watch basketball, you haven't watched the women. Well, another sport where people would normally watch the women to get good instructions is golf. So we can't go any further without giving a big shout out to the U.S. men's team that won the Ryder Cup, beating the Euros quite soundly. So big shout out to the U.S. team and the momentary making up of Bryson DeChambeau and Mr. Koepka. So those two guys have been at odds for some time, so they made them kind of hug and said it's all about the team. But yeah, big shout out to the men's team as they went ahead and knocked off the European team right here at home in the USA at Whistling Straits. So big ups, gentlemen, big ups, big ups.
Yeah, work that thing. That's what they doing. They working that thing, baby.
And they did, man. I mean, can I tell you, the one thing about the Ryder Cup that's interesting, especially in either country, is that it's the one time that golf people really kind of are allowed to let their hair down, so to speak. I mean, the fans can go crazy. They can act up. I mean, they can't do when the guys are swinging, but it's definitely a lot more animated than regular golf. Well, the other thing is we want to also give a shout out to our Braves. We don't want to do anything premature because they still have to win the next couple of games in order to get to the division title. But the Braves are now just the magic number is down to 5. And what I mean by that is that any combination of Braves wins and Phillies losses that total 5 means that our Atlanta Braves will be once again the NL East champions and trying to head and do what they need to do. Charlie Morton is starting today, and I will give an update. Atlanta is leading 2-0 already here as Charlie Morton, their ace, is on the mound, and Atlanta has a 2.5 game lead over Philadelphia. So good news coming from right up the road here. Tyrone, you've had a quest to the championship. What are kind of really the main ingredients that a team has to have in order to be a champion?
Chemistry, the big C word, chemistry. I've seen a lot of teams, they are more talented, but the chemistry is off. So the team that has the most chemistry, and then the second thing would be just, I believe, the belief that you are just better than your opponent. So the chemistry and a mindset of a champion. So those two things right there, if you got chemistry and everybody believing that they are dominant and nobody deserves to be on the same field, court, or surface that you're on, that is what breeds champions.
Tree, how about you?
Yeah, I agree. I always say, and one of my favorite quotes Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. And that's because it is all mental. It does start with how you think. When you step on that court, you definitely have to think that you are the best. Nobody can compete with you. Nobody can compare with you. But at the same token, you also have to put in that hard work in the weight room and in practice to make sure that nobody can compete with you and nobody can compare to you. But when you step on that field or on that court, you have to know that you are the best before the game, during the game, even if you're down. Hey, we're going to win this game. It's all mental. And I will also say one thing that I did not hear Tyrone say that I think is a big part of winning championships is discipline. A lot of the teams that you see who win, they're disciplined. They're doing the little things. It's the little things that make the big things. And discipline is a key word.
Well, no doubt about it. I think to myself, one of the biggest battles that I go through personally is that whole idea of discipline. And I know you guys see it, especially on defense. Tyrone, you know how it is. Certain players have to have that contain. If they rush in and don't contain, the back gets around them. Instead of having a player stop near the line of scrimmage, it becomes a big game. When you're in a zone, you can't arbitrarily the defensive back say, I'm going to do something else and play a man-to-man. You have to be disciplined to play your position and stick with it. So there's no doubt about it. Well, guys, listen, you're listening and watching the Real Talk Sports Show. We want to tell you, please, everyone, bump it down. Follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Also, subscribe to us on our YouTube page, Real Talk Sports. You also can find it as under Real Talk Sports TV. So again, subscribe to us and follow us on social media. We would love it very much if you guys would do that. Well, so waiting for our basketball guy to get in. You know, one thing I realize here with all the links that I do during the week, I have to like put my glasses on, and I think I'll put another pair of glasses on because apparently Mr. Raphael, aka Mr. Controversy, just texted me and said, "Hey, I think you sent me the wrong link, bro. What's up?" So I had to send him the link again, and hopefully I think we might have him in the green room. And I do believe the man who's one of the co-founders of 3-Point Conversion, his stage name is simply Mr. Controversy. So everybody batten down the hatches. Raphael Haynes is in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on, everybody?
I'm doing great, man. Turn that mic up, bro. I know you're gonna get loud. Turn that mic up.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
My bad.
There you go.
Bad. What's going on, Tyrone? How you doing, Miss Tree?
How you doing, Raphael?
Hey, Raphael.
Well, it's good to see you, man. We're gonna switch over here a little bit to the NBA. Did you get a chance to check out our Hawks at the media day? I guess it was yesterday.
Yes, I did, and I was very impressed. I like the way they basically came in and their approach. You would think a young team, they just got done making the Eastern Conference Finals, shocking everyone. You would think they would come in and all of a sudden be cocky or happy. No, they were businesslike. The main, I guess their focus and the main, how should I put it? The word of the day was no. And when I say no, basically saying last year was last year. We're not thinking about last year. It's all about this year. You know, everybody was focused. Everybody, John, JC, John Collins, he's going to be, he's going to have fun.
Life of the party, sir.
That's him. But everyone else, they weren't serious. They were just focused. We're ready to get to it. Everybody had the same type of mental aspect towards the season. The funny thing was Nate McMillan, he was the one that seemed the most just like, hey, I don't have nothing on my shoulders. I'm glad my guys are here. I'm happy. I'm proud of them. Everyone's healthy. I have no worries. I think we're going to take care of business, and we all on one accord.
Well, Tree, I know as soon as you mentioned John Collins, I know you must have some questions there for Mr. Raphael Haynes.
You always talk about John Collins and me. That's funny. Listen, I'm excited that the Hawks have signed John Collins. I'm excited for the team that we have put together. And I'm really looking for big things to happen for the Hawks this year. It's funny because normally during NFL season, I'm just all about NFL and okay, basketball will come when it comes. But this year, I can't wait for basketball. And I really can't wait to see what the Hawks are going to do. So when you were there, please tell me, outside of just the seriousness that you saw from the players and the silliness from John, which I'm sure he's still excited celebrating his birthday, but what were some of the things that you noticed about this team that was different from other teams in the past, the way that they were entering media day?
Well, let's start with Cam Reddish. Cam was confident. Now, I don't know if you all see Cam's press conferences or when he's being interviewed. Usually, Cam is like on the edge of his seat. He's waiting for someone to attack him, I guess, But no, he was very confident. He talked about how the Philly, not Philly series, but the Milwaukee series, the last two games when he came back from the injury, and he played pretty well, played pretty good, and he played good defensively. And remember, he carried that team the last game. I think he had like 25, 26 points, went 6 for 6 or 7 for 7 from 3-point land. So he was very confident. He talked about how he can't wait to get started. It's his first year coming into training camp healthy, since he's been in the NBA. So he looked very confident. Also, we know Trey is going to be Trey. We know Trey has a chip on his shoulder. If you tell Trey, "Hey man, I think your hair looks nice," he always going to take that as "Oh, you trying to diss me?" I'm okay. That's Trey. That's Trey Young. So, but he came in, and what shocked me was he said, which you don't hear a lot of young players say. He said what he wants to work on is his mid-range game.
Mhm.
That right there lets me know that he gets it. It's about mastering everything, not just a 3-point shot, not just a floater, not just getting his teammates involved, but I want to be great at everything. So for the fact that he's working on his mid-range game, and he said, you might not hear a lot of people talk about this, but I want to work on my mid-range game. I got to get better at that. So that right there was kind of shocking, but I liked it. And then just overall, again, just the fact that everybody was on one accord, everybody talked about being focused and being ready, and last year was last year. And I thought it was funny the fact that, and Rev, I think, I don't know if Rev was in there, I think you were, but Rev, they asked Lou Williams about Trey Young wrestling, and he said that he really wasn't a good actor. He said, yeah, he was trying, but he wasn't a good actor. I thought it was funny. I laughed at him when I saw him. So that was funny seeing Lou Williams talk about Trey Young's acting ability.
Well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna bring this up again. Talk a little bit more about the Hawks. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. Don't go nowhere, because the champion, who's won back to back, he might have some questions for Raphael that are a little different. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. All right, we're back here. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. Around the panel here,
expectations are going to be super, super high. That's why they're getting all this visibility this year from the NBA as far as national games. And we talked about chemistry is one thing that helps teams win championships. And like the old song goes, more money, more problems. Do you think, as far as chemistry and athletes making money, John Collins just got paid, there's some other guys that, receiving some funds, do you think that could throw off the chemistry? Because now one person may think, hey, since I'm getting paid, I'm the face of the Hawks. Somebody else may say, no, I'm the face. And sometimes, that can throw out the chemistry, and a team can go from up to down just that quick.
No, I don't think this would be the problem. One thing they kept talking about is, and John Collins mentioned it, is the fact that that's behind me now. I don't have to worry about my contract anymore. I'm with my brothers. Trey, he just got signed. We just signed Clint Capella. We have Reddish signed for a few years. Next is Herder, but he's going to be there this year. So he talked about just being there with his brothers, knowing that they're going to be with each other for another 4 to 5 years. That stood out. And think about it. You talk about John Collins. I think John Collins, and I'll be the first to say I'm real cool with John Collins, but I'll be the first to say last year in the playoffs, he didn't play particularly well. He struggled at certain times. Certain times he had, he was decent. He had a good game every now and then, but for the most part, he didn't play to the caliber of a John Collins. But I think that was because of he bet on himself, and I think it was pressure. He was looking back, not necessarily looking back at the bench or looking back at a player, who's going to replace him, but looking back at management, looking back at the fans because he wasn't playing well. So I think it was a lot of pressure. Now that pressure is gone. I think you will see the 2019 and 20 John Collins, where he averaged over 20 points and 10 rebounds a game, which I think he was only like one of 3 players to do that in that whole season. So I think you will see him play that way. Trey said the same thing. Trey said, hey, I got my brothers here now. We signed John. We got Clint signed. I'm here for 5 years. I'm ready to roll. So I think it's going to bode well for the Hawks.
Yeah, because I know the Falcons, they had that brotherhood thing, and that didn't see how that worked out for the Hawks. But I'm saying the Falcons. But my last question for you, okay, let's pretend like you are Coach Nate McMillan, and you're in a private media day, and the question is, in order for the Hawks to get to the championship and win it, what must all 5 of those guys who go out there on that court, from Trae Young to John Collins to all the guys that start, what are the weaknesses that they must make strengths? If you can give us, or just give us a few, maybe John Collins, I know you say you're close to him, and Trae and Capella. What do you think each of those individuals, we know what their strengths are. What do you think they need to do individually to make themselves stronger where they're weak?
Well, let's start with Trae Young. Trae has to be careful with the ball. He can't turn the ball over. He has to get better at that. Yes, he gets 9 assists, and if your ratio is 9 to 4 and 4 turnovers, that's not bad. But in order to get to that next level, now we got to get Chris Paul like. We got to get only 2 turnovers a game and be consistent with it. That's his weakness, and I think if he strengthens that, Hawks, I can see them in the East Conference Finals easily. With John Collins got to play the whole game. He has to hustle. He hustles, but he has to be in the game. His head has to be in the game. He can't let missing the shot get him down. He has to play hard the entire game. Be aggressive. Rebound. Go after offensive rebounds. Take the shot when you have it. Be confident with the shot. Clint Capella. Honestly, it's hard. I mean, you can say he has weaknesses, but I don't think his weaknesses affect the game. The only weakness I can think of is maybe his free throw shooting. That's it. I mean, other than that, he does what you want him to do. You want him to block shots. You want him to rebound. He doesn't need to score.
Number 1 rebounder.
Right. And exactly. And Tree, you don't have to pass. You don't have to call plays for him to score. He get tips. He get the lobs. So his weaknesses really don't affect the game except for free throw shooting. So get better at the free throw line. DeAndre Hunter, be confident. That's it. Just be confident. We saw what he could do. We had a glimpse of what he could do right before he got hurt. Just be confident. That's all you got to do. Be confident in your shot. And we saw when he was confident, man, he was one of the best players on the Hawks last year. He was averaging around 18, 19 points a game when he was doing that little run, probably even over 20. So just be confident. Now, as far as the other guard, let's say you want to say Bogey. Bogey has to play better on defense. Just give more effort. I mean, hey, some people are just not blessed with defensive tools. This is what it is. Just be more aggressive on defense. Keep shooting. And I think the Hawks will be fine with that starting 5.
All right. Now,
But you're not.
Go ahead, Tree.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, because I know you were talking about John Collins not playing well in the playoffs, and I've heard this from other people. But I do want to say, what did you say? I do want to say though, yes, he may not have played the way that we would expect or as far as scoring points, but I don't want people to forget about the many plays that he made that really turned the game around. When we were playing New York and he had these amazing blocks and he had great dunks, and that just lighted up the whole team, and it just changed the whole momentum and all of that. So even though I know a lot of people just look at the numbers, you also have to look at what people bring to the team. He brings energy, and those plays that he made really made a big difference for the Hawks. So I don't want people to not look at that as well. Yeah, he may not have scored 20-something points, but those plays, to me, changed the game, and that's what made us get those W's. And then also, I did want to say with Cam Reddish, when you mentioned him earlier, I always use him as an example of Cam Reddish is the perfect example of staying ready. So when your name is called, you don't have to get ready. He showed out in the playoffs. Like you said, he was amazing. I was actually really shocked that they weren't giving him the ball when it was coming down to the wire in the last 2 minutes. I don't think he touched the ball, which I was very disappointed with, because like you said, I think he was 6 for 7 from the 3 or whatever he was, but he was the hot hand. And so I was amazed that they did not give him the ball. But I can't wait to see what Cam Reddish is going to do this year. And again, for all of those people out there, he's the perfect example of staying ready so that you don't have to get ready.
Mr. Haynes, I will tell you, you made the mistake to throw some shade on Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins is a great favorite of our friend Tree because he plays down in the low 4-5, and she was a 4-5 herself. So, you mentioned John Collins and shade, so you must put them on like myself, so you don't have a problem. Speaking of shade, Mr. Todd, one of our great friends of our show, he said the problem is with the Hawks, they ain't hungry. He says last year, they're not hungry because they all got paid. And then he said about Trae Young, too many shimmies. That's my man Todd throwing that shade as only he can. Golly.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I think that's the reason why they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, because they were hungry. I think they were more hungry than everyone else except for Milwaukee. And that's what's going to drive them next year, or this year, I should say, is the fact that, and that's what I got from the media day. They weren't satisfied. They weren't satisfied at all. They kept talking about that. And when you have a young team that's hungry, and usually you don't see that in a young team. Young team, if they do well, they get cocky. They got paid. They feel good. You notice it. I've been in a lot of pressures. I've been in a lot of pressures for the Hawks, and they're really laid back. And Trey's probably the only one, like I said, with the chip on his shoulder. But this year, everyone was focused. Everyone talked about. It's about this year, and we hadn't done anything yet. Our number one goal is we want to go ahead and get home court advantage. And they kept saying this word here. It was either underdogs or not respected. Mm-hmm. They still feel like, just like my man Todd just said, they still feel like you got people like Todd that disrespect them or feel like they're a dark horse or they're not, or they're just not good enough. And that's what's going to catapult them to where they want to go. And with Trey doing shimmy, I mean, if Trey doesn't have fun, Trey is not playing. So
I like the shimmy.
Me too. I like it too.
Let me ask you this, Raphael, my last question. With preseason coming up, okay, what do the Hawks have to show in preseason to say to you and everybody in this nation that this team is championship ready?
Honestly, the number one thing, stay healthy. That's all they need to do. If they can be healthy, that's it. I mean, preseason is just getting your wind up, practicing the plays, getting familiar with each other. Preseason doesn't count. I mean, Tyrone, you know in NFL, that's where you sharpen your skills. Now, if you're a two-way player and you're trying to make the team, okay, we need you to show something. But for Trey, don't do too much. Sharpen your skills, get your win up, and just be ready for the season.
But what about the bench? What about the bench, though? I'm like, the bench, we all know in the NBA, you're only as good as your bench.
Well, but Atlanta's deep. I mean, and I don't even know who's going to start right now at that 2 position. So with Herter, we know what he can do. I think Cam is probably the one that everyone is like, all right, what can he do? What is he going to show us? Just because he's been hurt. Last year, before he got hurt, he was in a slump. His rookie year, before the season ended and got cut short, he was playing well. So we hadn't seen him put everything together because of injuries or the season ended or what have you. So we want to see if he can do this for 82 games straight. So in preseason, be aggressive, be confident. That's what we want to see. The other players like Sharif, we want to see if Sharif fits on the team. I like Sharif. I think Sharif Cooper is going to be a star. The team loves him, and I like Jalen Johnson. I like Jalen Johnson. So we just need to see those rookies come in and play well, and see that they can adapt to the team, and see that they know what they're doing, and they're not timid or scared. And again, don't get hurt. Stay healthy. They're fine.
I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Hold it. We got 30 seconds. We got to wrap it up. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Yes or no? Do the Hawks win the championship this year?
No, not this year.
All right. Raphael Haynes, Mr. Controversy. Hope I got the name right. 3-point conversion. Did I spell it right?
No, sir. But it's okay. Instead of the O, it's the N, but it's fine. It's
wow.
Okay.
See this? See how my co-host immediately. That's how she gets her laughs on me when I do it. When he's gaffed, that's how she does. But immediately, that's her highlight. After she'll say, "Oh, brother, you were so funny." Yeah, she gonna make fun of me. That's all right. But anyway, listen, Raphael Haynes, thank you so much for joining us, brother. Until the next time, see you real soon. God bless.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a station break so I can adjust to another faux pas. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here for more. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere, please. You'll miss it. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
My man, JB Smooth. That guy is hilarious. But for those of you who have not seen him and seen his stick, JB Smooth is off the chain. But I will say this much, too. Every time I went out some of the events, he actually is smooth. Guy, his wardrobe is on point. So, JB, if you're watching this, man, we appreciate you. You look as good as you be acting crazy. So, yeah, JB Smooth, great guy, and we enjoy him very much. All right, we're going to shift gears here to a little college football. Lots of stuff has been going on over these last couple of weekends. We see upset specials. We see teams making their move up and down the top 25. And right here at home, we see a team apparently riding the ship as the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets had a big win at home. And I'm going to see if I can get a little bit from Coach Collins. Let's see if we can grab him and hear a little bit about what he thought about his Jackets pulling off a big win that we actually played at the stadium that the Falcons play at, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So let's see if we can get something here with Coach Collins here. I'm going to try to grab this here. We're going to cancel out here and see if we can get him on the air. Let's see here. And we'll look for Coach Collins and his comments about his Yellow Jackets and how well they played against a North Carolina team that actually had hung up 59 against Virginia the week before, and actually a top 21 team coming into this game. Let's see if we can get the remarks from Jeff Collins.
Coach, can you just take us through the process of deciding to go with Jeff when you guys did?
All right, looks like our screen is not cooperating. All right.
Yeah, so that's the thing we talk all the time. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Well, for some reason, we're getting a lockup here. I'm not sure what's going on with our happy. All right, looks like.
Uh-oh. Hi, Tyro.
Yeah, we doing, Tree. We over here working that thing. I'm like, Jonathan took a little break, so we're gonna take over the show and talk about a little bit of Georgia Tech and all that good stuff. And until Jonathan comes back from break, maybe we tell a joke. That's what we should do. You got a joke.
You tell a joke. What joke you gonna tell?
Oh, I got a joke for him now. I'm laughing all day. And stop me if I used this joke before. Did I use the? Have I told you guys the a joke about the? I can't even think of the joke.
Well, I see you over there flexing them triceps on the camera.
Oh.
Tyrone be working that thing, and so you see he just triceps for days, just bam, he just flexing for y'all. I just wanted to point that out.
I can get back out there if I need to. Now I can get back out there. I can give him about 15 plays. So if the Falcon need a nickel, I can give him about 15 plays, 10 to 15. You know,
that's all you need, bro.
That's it.
Play that nickel. That's all you need. You only know 30, 40 plays. All right. My man Todd was trying to throw in some shade before the Hawk segment over. He said, man, I want to make one last point on the Hawks. That last playoff game, Tree, the second shimmy cost it all. Other team went on a 21-3 run. It was over.
Yeah, Todd, but it didn't have anything to do with the shimmy. If you think about it, we just stopped making shots. We needed to make shots. We had plenty of opportunities to score. The shots just were not falling. That's what it was. Had the shots fallen, it would have been a different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's really it. I mean, we can, talk about this. The bottom line is Milwaukee was the better team. I mean, we can mess around, say what we want, but they were the better team. They had a dominant player at the MVP, and really the Hawks were having some problems defending in the paint. I mean, that's all there's to it. And again, the guy was not 100%, and you didn't have DeAndre Hunter at all during that series. So I mean, the Hawks got, I think, about as much as they could have got out of that team as constructed, and with the injuries they were coming through with. So I mean, and who thought they were going to get that far?
I'm proud of the Hawks. They played phenomenal. You hear me? Phenomenal. What they did when they went in New York, we all know that the Garden is the toughest place to play. I've never played in the Garden, but talking to guys that play in the NBA, everybody just talks about that atmosphere and the things that they went and did. I think it really showed toughness and just what they are capable of. And like you said, I really just think they ran out of steam towards the end. But if you think about it, like the difference is just those shots. They just stopped falling. For whatever reason, the shots stopped falling. I don't know, fatigue or whatever. Had those shots went in, it would be a different conversation. But regardless of that, the Hawks did an amazing job last season. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do this year. Of course, everybody knows, hey, my team, I'm a Detroit Piston. Let's be clear. I love my Detroit team. So yes, but do I like watching the Hawks? And am I rooting for the Hawks? Yes, I am. So I am also rooting for the Hawks, but Detroit first.
I'm surprised I didn't hear the famous song, Detroit.
Oh,
there we go.
Basketball. Oh, yeah, you know it's coming. We know about them. I still love my bad boys and everything. So Detroit for life.
I knew it was coming. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, we could not get the video up, but who cares? We got the guy's been following the Yellow Jackets for a long time. He actually has his own site via 24/7 Sports. Yellow Jackets, GoJackets.com. Our good buddy Rob McKenzie now is finally in the building. Rob, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. And hey, it was great to see you Saturday night. It's been a long time, man.
Brother, it's good to be seen, man. It's just good to be back out there. Good to be at the bench, actually in my official capacity. Those of you who may or may not know, and again, I'm going to say this really quickly, not to create any kind of political kind of conversation, but it does appear that most of the professional teams are not going to allow the media to cover the game officially unless they have their vaccination cards that are certified by the CDC. Unfortunately, right now, and I'm not. And so it just was good to be in Mercedes-Benz in the official capacity of being part of the media, man. It was good to see you, brother. I mean, it's been, 2 years or something like that?
Yeah, and you were talking about Smooth and the way he dresses. You should have seen Jonathan Saturday night.
I didn't believe it. Jonathan is always clean. It's like, what does Cedric, the entertainer, say? Clean like a whistle.
I was wearing shorts, and I felt out of place.
Well, bro, I figured since, I had not been back for a while, I had to come out in style. Actually, that's the reason why I was late, Rod. I'll be honest with you. The suit was being tailored at the place where I bought it from, so I said, I'm not going to go unless I'm wearing the suit. So I actually had to go run and grab the suit and then go into the stadium. But yeah, it was great stuff. All right, before I get to Georgia Tech, we always have some folks that will throw little shots on social media. So the guy that really started me on radio The one and only Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. He just says about Detroit.
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 Vincent, did you really call my city and my team garbage? Okay, Vincent, I feel some type of way about that. Let's be clear. Detroit is not garbage. Okay, I don't care if we finished last place. We're going to get better again. And I'm still a proud Detroiter and a proud Detroit Piston, Lion, Tiger, Red Wing, you name it. I can't believe you said my team is garbage.
See, I'm going to tell you the danger of doing this. See, a lot of people may not know. You see the lovely Miss Tree, very demure. I'm just going to put out the tail of the tape. Okay, the woman is a former D1 athlete and a coach. She's 6'2" in her bare feet. Okay, please, folks. I don't have to get no emergency call. She's gonna beat you down somewhere because you insulted the Detroit team. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
All right. I'm not violent.
No, she's not violent. All right, let's talk a little Georgia Tech. We got a question from our good man Todd. He's saying, do you know the history of bad blood between the two coaches, Collins and the Pittsburgh coach? I can't call his name, Narvodny. I know. Go ahead. You take it away, Todd.
Narduzzi, yeah.
Narduzzi, yep. Mm-hmm.
There wasn't bad blood. I mean, it was blown out of proportion. Collins had somewhere that he wanted to get to. You could tell when you look at the still shot of the two of them, he was looking in that direction. He wanted to get at the referees before they got off the field, and Narduzzi wanted to stop and talk, and Collins was off and running.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get these kind of things. I mean, and Pitt has beaten them, I think, the last 2 or 3 years. So I'm sure
three straight.
Yeah, they've had about enough of that. All right, so what it's going to take for the Jackets to continue what probably one of the best games I've seen them play in the Jeff Collins era?
Yeah, they're going to have to make Pitt one-dimensional. They're going to have to stop the run, which, most defenses, that's what they go out on the field wanting to stop the run first. But if they get the run going early against Georgia Tech with Pickett back there, the way he can, pick you apart, he's very elusive in the pocket, hard to tackle, that type of thing. It's going to be a long day for the Jacket defense.
I know Mr. Tyrone Poole, a Super Bowl champion and 14-year NFL vet, may have a question for Mr. Rod.
How you doing, Rod? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I hope you are too.
All is well. All is well. My question, you spoke of the run game, which I believe football, regardless of the rules and how everyone sees the game of football being built from the outside in. And what I mean by that is a passing league now. But I still believe in order to win championship, to win games, it's built from the inside out, which is the run game, the O-line, D-line stopping the run. Now, Georgia Tech, you spoke of what Georgia Tech has to do to slow down Pittsburgh's running game. Now, Georgia Tech hasn't had a 100-yard rusher. They almost had a 100-yard rusher in the Northern Illinois game. Came up short 1 yard. But this last couple of games, they failed to get to that century mark. Does that help Georgia Tech, or what do they need to do to get their running game going so that they can continue to get a winning streak going?
Yeah, they I think there's one way of looking at it. They use 2 or 3 different backs, so it's going to be a little more difficult to have one guy gain 100. Jeff Sims came in with about 3 minutes to go in the first half, ended up rushing for 128 yards. They run a lot of that RPO, a lot of the mesh, and he's become very adept at that, putting the ball in the running back's stomach and knowing when to pull it out or not to pull it out. And that first play he ran, they ran that mesh, and he pulled it out and went for an 11-yard touchdown. So, the offensive line is something that Georgia Tech has been building, since Paul Johnson left. A lot smaller, different blocking technique with the triple option. You go at the lower part of the body, and so I think they're starting to bring in some bigger kids. Coach Brent Key is changing the technique, and I think as the season goes on, you're going to see the offensive line mesh a little more, and perhaps we can see that and that 100-yard rusher that I was expecting to see maybe a little earlier, like you said, especially when you have a kid like Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield.
Yeah, so looking at him, I mean, there's no question that combination with Gibbs in the backfield and with Sims, I mean, Sims looked like, again, sometimes things happen. You have to go to the bench for a little while, but he looked like he was ignited when he came in, man, like a rocket. And as soon as he got in, I mean, even though he was very gracious and talked about the fact that, hey, look, we're one team here, and he's pulling for Yates all the time, there's no question that team got a different boost of energy when he came out. And he really, for me, he seemed to really run the offense as good as he's done since he's been here.
Yeah, I think Coach Patino mentioned today that, that first game, he was a little wrapped too tight. He wasn't relaxed, and having a chance to watch the offense being run by Yates the last couple of games, he's gotten a chance to see some things. They decided to start Yates, and they knew they were going to play Sims. They wanted to bring him in after maybe the second or third series of the game, which is what they did. They brought him in at a pretty much opportune time. Tech had just created the turnover, picked up a fumble, ran it to the 17-yard line. So North Carolina was a little bit back on their heels, So they had him run a couple of running plays to get his feet wet, to get him relaxed. And once that happened, I think after that, Jonathan, he just about every series they scored. So, Jeff Sims is a great athlete. I think a lot of it is just, getting himself relaxed and under control when he goes out there.
Oh, no doubt. And, of course, Todd couldn't let it go. He said, problem with Sims is he can't throw the ball, preacher. Well, let me just get some stats. And I know everybody gets real wiggly when I bring the stats out. Oh, what are stats? Okay, this is the numbers from Jeff Sims. And to me, an epic performance. 10 of 13 in the air, 112 yards and a touchdown. And as you mentioned, 10 for 128 on the ground, averaged 12.3 yards a carry, and more importantly, 3 touchdowns. So from your quarterback position, he accounted for 4 of the 6 touchdowns that Georgia Tech racked up, or 7 touchdowns. So at the end of the day, I mean, what more do you really want from the guy? And he orchestrated a running attack that wasn't dominant, but, again, Gibbs had 64 yards. Mason had 42 yards. Both guys averaged around 5 yards a carry. Dante Smith picked up another 28, averaging close to 5 yards a carry. So, I mean, I don't know, Tyrone, 4.8 to 5.2 yards a carry. Would you be okay with that from your rushing attack?
Well, again, it all depends on who's doing that rushing. I would rather my running backs get that rushing than my quarterback. Because at the end of the day, if it comes down to a situation where we're behind and we need a 2-minute offense, my running back's not going to be able to throw the ball. So, yes, it's good to see the quarterback get those runs, but at the end of the day, I always say let the pros do what the pros do. The running backs, they're there for a reason. So if I can, I would rather my running backs run the ball and my quarterbacks, run if possible. That's why I'm taking to the pro level real quick, but come back to college. I know a lot of teams run the run pass option, and with Baltimore, Jackson. Every time when he go out on the field, man, I'm like praying that, the guy just, they don't put him in a situation where he just injures himself. He don't become a Robert Griffin. I want to see him throw the ball. He's a great athlete, but I want to see him be more of a complete quarterback and throw that ball, run if necessary. That's why I love Steve Young. Steve Young was as talented, could run, but they made Steve throw the ball. But the game has changed. The RPO is what it is, but I would rather my running backs get those yards because them quarterbacks, they don't have on much gear anyways. So them defensive guys come in and catch that quarterback at the wrong time. You could have a Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady, changing of the guards. You don't want your star players, especially at quarterback, to take them unnecessary hits.
Well, no doubt, man. It's something that you have to worry about. But we're going to shift gears a little bit. We talked about all this offense, but Rod's going to talk about something that I know that Miss Dolman likes, the defense. Rod, how about that show-stopping pass rush? How many sacks did they total out for that game?
I believe it was eight sacks, and they had only had 2 sacks going into that game, and they dialed it up. They switched from they opened the season playing a 4-2-5. They switched to a 3-3-5, and they had some variations of that. I believe they opened the game with 6 defensive backs. They brought Charlie Thomas back out there as the third linebacker. And since they've gone to the 3 linebackers, the defense has really, stepped up. And I think one of the things that's taken place, they've overturned the roster. They've gotten bigger at defensive end, bigger in the middle. And in the past, the defensive line was small for what you see in most Power 5 schools. So now they have those, athletes up front with length, and that's really, you have a kid like Jared Ivey, who's playing at 6'6", 265 at defensive end. That's something you don't see at Georgia Tech, and now that's becoming the norm, rather than a rarity with Georgia Tech. So credit to Andrew Thacker. He's been working with that 3-3-5 since last spring. He waited until he felt comfortable with it, broke it out against Clemson, played some variations of it against North Carolina, and they really had Sam Howell on the run the whole game. He took some hits back there. He fumbled the ball twice, so they really dialed it up.
So Sam Howell came into that. For those of you not familiar with him, the gunslinger from North Carolina was a possible early Heisman Trophy candidate. I mean, his numbers were decent, 25 of 39 for 309, but you hit it on the head. I mean, the guy was harassed all game, and 2 critical turnovers that led to Jacket touchdowns. So, like you say again, man, the Jackets are playing right now a really good brand of ball. And Pittsburgh coming to town, if they win this game, Rod, they might be ranked.
Well, I don't think they're really worried about being ranked, but I think they're, you hear the old coaches saying one game at a time, but I think their first goal may be just to take another step towards possibly winning that Coastal. And right now, the way things are going in the ACC, it's wide open. Miami's had a rough start in the Coastal. Virginia Tech sort of up and down. Virginia lost to Wake Forest, so Tech, upsets North Carolina. So there's a lot going on there, and right now, this game could be a pivotal game. If Pitt wins, they're in the driver's seat. If Georgia Tech wins, then hey, they're feeling pretty good about themselves, and they feel like they have a chance.
No doubt about it. We'll go to social media one more time. We're going to give a big shout out. Our first follower coming in during the middle of the broadcast. We have 1 or 2 followers that have joined us through a new platform, Twitch. But Clyde 72s, he said, I just followed. So we thank you, Clyde. Please plaster wood around. All right, Rod, you know how we do it. When we bring someone on the show, we always ask them before they leave to let people know how they can find out more about them. So as like we do it, Rod, the floor is yours.
Yeah, we're at gojackets.com. We're part of the 247 network. We have recruiting coverage. We cover practice twice a week, all the press conferences, all the games. We keep you up to date with everything Georgia Tech, whether it be football, basketball, baseball. We have you covered, and you can follow me on Twitter at Georgia Panther.
And there you go, guys. There's his website right there, gojackets.com. Listen, Rob, we appreciate you, man. Until the next time, see you soon, and God bless.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, man. So, like you said, the Yellow Jackets got a ways to go before they are going to be one of the elite teams. But no question, that game, Tyrone, was it really was a game for the recruits because you couldn't ask for anything better. It was a picture perfect, Georgia fall, about 72 degrees, no humidity. They're playing inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You got the big screens going. The band is rocking. And even one of the Tech players said, hey, I'm like a sophomore. This is the first time I played here, man. It was off the chain. My family here. So I think it's going to be big for the recruits.
Yeah, sometimes that's what it's all about. It's all about recruiting. You want to put your best foot forward. So this is a great way to put your best foot forward is with a big win. So strike up the band, and it's nothing like hearing the school fight song being played. So a lot of people that came to the game left the game with the fight song stuck in their head because so many touchdowns were scored.
The rambling wreck of Georgia Tech. And matter of fact, for those people who don't know, if you go to a Tech game, they're like the Boomer Soomers that has the wagon. There actually is an antique gold. There's a 1925 car they bring out and they bring the flag. So, yeah, definitely for Georgia Tech fans, they had to make them feel good, and for potential recruits to see that this is it. And really big shout out to Georgia Tech for their marketing campaign. Now, again, you got to put some substance on the field, but this whole repping the 404, this all about being the ATL, the new uniforms, the shout out to the civil rights movement with Dr. King, all these things trying to brand them as part of the Atlanta experience. And the hope is that they can get the type of caliber athletes and coaching that Georgia Tech can be relevant. Because as I point out, Georgia fans, don't get mad, but the last national championship belongs to the Yellow Jackets in 1990, some 10 years after Herschel Walker and that great team from Georgia won in 1980. So I'm just saying, Georgia Tech could be back. And, I'd like that because that's the first team that gave me my official credentials. So big shout out to them and kudos to them for all they're doing over there. All right, let's swing around, talk about kudos. HBCUs, Tyrone, still lots of stuff going on in HBCU Nation.
Yeah, still a lot of football being played. And, again, I'm just happy to have these guys getting the opportunity to get exposure through ESPN and also through their own streaming. HBCU football is still alive and very well. And so it's going to be a fight to the finish. The SIAC, like I call it, the Power Four, the SIAC, you got the MEAC, the CIAA, and of course you got the SWAC. So the Power Four, and as you mentioned, recruiting, ESPN is giving HBCU schools a great opportunity to help them in recruiting, because now kids in high school can now see what this particular HBCU program is all about, the style of football that they play. Am I a better fit at this HBCU where they love to throw the ball, or do I go to this PWI where I may not get any passes? So ESPN is giving these HBCUs an opportunity to show off, what they do and what the culture is all about. So even if you're in the band, a lot of people go to HBCUs just because of the band, but there's a lot of football being played. I'm just happy.
Well, speaking of SWAC, let's do a little updates here. We'll give you some scores. It was a thriller on Thursday night. Alcorn State, a team that has been dominant in the SWAC the last few years, a 1-point winner over Arkansas Bluff, 39-38. Also another big game, Jackson State, which of course is coached by Coach Prime, knocks off Delta State 24-17. The defending Celebration Bowl Black College champion, Alabama A&M, making their mark, continuing to roll, knocking off Tuskegee 45-35. Grambling State, for the third straight year, gets knocked off by Prairie View A&M. And I got to tell you, the Grambling Tigers, guys like Clemente Gordon and others, are fuming. Alabama State 38, Bethune-Cookman 24. North Carolina A&T knocks off arch rival North Carolina Central 37-14. So those are the big games. Oh, one last game on Sunday. Mississippi Valley State comes up short against Southern 38-25 on a rare Sunday afternoon game. With HBCUs, a lot of stuff are going on with them. The interesting thing is that two teams to also watch out for, teams that are no longer technically in the MEAC or SWAC. That is Hampton and North Carolina A&T. A matter of fact, we will get a chance to hopefully see them as they come rolling into Atlanta to take on the Kennesaw State Owls. So we look forward to North Carolina A&T returning back to Atlanta, where they have won, I think it's 2 of the Black College Football Championships. So, yeah, man, you guys got to keep your eyes on HBCUs. They're doing some great stuff, and we thank God that they are now getting that platform where everybody can actually watch them. Let's go to social media here real quick. Let's go here to Todd. Let me get my shades ready. Let's see what he says here. Todd says, Tyrone. What do you say? Tyrone. Florida State hire prime for coach. What do you think on that one? Should Florida State hire prime time?
Yeah, I know people have brought that up. I think Booger, actually, who is a Florida State alumni, I think he brought that up about Deion coming to Florida State. But I think just like Deion said, he knows, and I believe in Prime. Coach Prime, as they say. Again, I think Dion, one of the greatest DBs to ever play the game. I definitely tried to pattern my game after him, but I think he's where he wants to be. And I think he's having a bigger impact at Jackson State than he would have at Florida State. So me personally, I would rather see him stay at Jackson State because even though he attended Florida State, I think his greatest work would be at Jackson State, but he would have a good job. That's a difference between your work and your job. He would have a better job at Florida State, but I think his work, as he said, is to be at Jackson State. And he's having a ripple effect as far as all across the HBCUs. So I would rather see him stay at Jackson State. I think that's where his work is.
No doubt. He is certainly a guy that is, he's making a huge impact, bringing a lot of national publicity to the HBCUs, and I think eventually he's going to build a good program. Let's flip to the PWIs, College Football AP Top 25. Let's see if we can take a look at them here. And no surprise here in the top 3, Alabama, undefeated. And I will say a couple of weeks ago, we got a big scare by Florida, but they are way ahead. 58 of the total votes for first place that were available were captured by the Crimson Tide. Georgia, after a big 62-0 shutout of Vanderbilt, keeps their number 2 position. The Oregon Ducks, are at number 3, still undefeated in the Pac-12. Penn State making some noise after a big win on the road against Wisconsin. They're 4-0. Iowa still 4-0 at number 5. Oklahoma at number 6. And the team that I am going to pick right now is a dark horse candidate to get to the playoffs. They came here and played very well in the Chick-fil-A Bowl last year. I'm talking about the guys down the road at Cincinnati, who was at number 7. The Bearcats making some noise at the American Athletic Conference. Arkansas, soo-wee! Where's Mr. Turner, Mr. Football? Arkansas, for the first time in years, is back in the top 10 at 4-0. Notre Dame at number 9, and Florida rounds out the top 10 at 3-1 record, which to me, the eye test, Florida is probably the 3rd best team in the country. I mean, they narrowly lost to Alabama, and they have been dominant in the other games they played in. And they have a quarterback, I think, that's in waiting that could, in fact, sneak them into the national title contention. He is a runner, and they remind him a lot of, in terms of his ability to dominate a game. They say he's much like Tim Tebow and Cam Newton, type of guy that can just one man carry the team. So look for Florida to make some noise. All right, speaking of making some noise, our sponsors got to make some noise, but you can still make your noise when we come back. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show, and we'll be back in just a moment. Please don't go anywhere. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number 1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. All right, guys, we are back here wrapping up our final segment, which I know everybody waits for, is the NFL. And anytime we talk NFL, we got to talk about our Falcons. And when we talk about our Falcons, we bring in the man who is the embedded beat writer for AJC Sports to cover the Falcons. He also is an award-winning sports writer in his own right and Esquire par excellence. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building.
Hello, Reverend. Thanks for having me. Hello, Tree and Tyrone. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing all right. How you doing, D-Led?
Doing good.
Doing pretty good.
Well, D-Led, okay, hang on one second here. I got to do this real quick. Since I shout out Arkansas, Mr. Football went wild. Let's read his comments here. He said, talk about them hogs, ranked 8 in the country. I smell dog meat in Athens. Tell Tyrone, pig sweet. He says he's a hater. K. Jefferson and Miss Tree, and the best DB out of Fort Valley. Oh, okay. Is Eddie Anderson of Raider Nation? Come on, man. It's a football. You can't throw that kind of shade like this, man. Come on. Wow. I don't know if Tyrone even want to respond to that. Boy, that's a lot of shade.
I have nothing to say. All I can say is no one perspective, other people's perspective is not my reality.
Woo! Once again, Tyrone Poole. Bam! Let me get my shades out. Right up. That's called a boom. Bam! All right. I had to get that in there. All right. So before we talk our Falcons, really quickly, Tree, how do you feel about your boys right down to the wire in Detroit?
Listen. Can I just tell everybody out there that I am heartbroken? I'm still in shock. I am still in shock that my Lions lost and the way that they lost. I just knew. I was like, okay, we're getting our first W for the season. Like, really? Oh, an NFL record being broken? Only against my Detroit Lions does that happen. I just want to say that. Had it been any other team, it would not have bounced in. And no, this only against my Lions. So I'm just so distraught, and I'm so hurt about that game.
Well, at least it took a record-breaking field goal to have you guys lose. So don't feel bad about that, but I wanted to at least let you shout out some encouragement to your Detroit Lions. All right, D-Led, I'm going to get you right to it.
Can I say this right quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
This is for Tree and all of Detroit. All right? What up, though?
Wow.
What up, though? Okay, what up, though?
Wow. You got people in Detroit to know what that means right there.
You got to get right to it. That's a Detroit thing. I'm out. I got to put my shades and chill back. I'm out.
What up, though?
I don't know.
What up, though?
I don't know about anything about that, but I do know this. The Falcons got a W. So D-Led, I'd like you to give us a grade for the Falcons' performance last week.
Overall, you got to give them when you get a win. So you got to at least give them a B, but B minus. Wasn't an artistic gem. I thought it was a gritty win. They came up with some plays at the end to pull it out, snatch it away. 2 scoring drives, a stop by the defense, a big sack by Fowler. If Dory Jackson catches that interception, we're talking about another different story here. So, but he didn't. So they pulled it out. Just a good win for a team that's, it's not there yet. They're trying to find their way. They're not a good offensive team yet. The defense is getting better, at least making strides. And, special teams came up big with a couple plays for them also. So overall, a B minus because they, were able to, put some plays together late and win the ball game.
Tyrone, what do you think? What kind of grade would you give the Falcons after getting the W?
But just like D-Led said, this game is so tough that any way you can get a win, that's what you want. You get the win, whether you win 50-0 or 50-49. Wins are hard to come by in the NFL, and anytime you can get one, we can we'll celebrate it and come back and look at that film and try to see how we can get better. So I'm pretty sure that's what the Falcons are going to do.
Tree, what do you think about the Falcons win?
I was pleasantly surprised. I did not pick them to win. I did not think they were going to win, but I was happy with what I saw and the way that they executed. And so I'm really happy that they got the W. I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, D-Led, the thing I'm always excited about when I get a sighting. So for 2 straight weeks, I got a Dante Fowler sack. I don't even know what to do. I mean, that to me, the fact that the Falcons have had 2 straight games where they've had multiple sacks, that's probably the most encouraging thing I got out of the whole game. I guess I would give them probably a B minus on that. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I can't really give them a B only because there's still some offensive deficiencies. That offense needs some work. And speaking of that, what do you think they need to do to kind of get that offense to the next level?
Well, I think they got to run the ball. You got Mike Davis, Cordell Patterson, Keith Smith. They did it. They got in the I formation and tried to run the ball against the Giants. They got 70 yards, average 3.6 yards a carry. I need that to get up to 4 yards a carry. I need them to, push some people out the way and run the football. And then that way, Matt can throw some play actions. Then he's got time to throw. He can get the ball to, Pitts and Ridley and Hayden Hurst and move the ball around. But if they can't run the football, that offense isn't going anywhere this year.
Well, I mean, does it seem that they still need a little bit more rhythm between Matt and the receivers? Because it still seems that, I mean, not by much, but it seems like just a smidge off, especially on those crossing patterns.
Well, yeah, no question about it, Reverend, because I talked about the how Kyle Shanahan timed up his routes in practice and how they, did them in the game. They ran them over and over and over and over. They only ran about 10 routes, but but they got them They got them down to where they were perfect. The Falcons, I don't get to see them practice anymore now because they kick us out after stretching. So, but I don't know how they're doing it in practice. So, but it isn't showing up in the games as a precision type passing attack. Now, in the exhibition season when they didn't play anybody, that's when they should have been working this out. But they've gone into the season and it's getting ready to be the fourth game. So that's going to be the 4 exhibition games. And if it's still disjointed after this game in Washington, then that's a problem. So it should be getting better each week. We've seen the defense get better each week. The offense should be getting better each week, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, Tyrone, you played in a precision style system. Now, how important is it for the quarterback? And obviously, we're talking about Brady being the GOAT, but how important is the quarterback to be in sync, especially with his receivers on these short plays that are designed to break big?
Well, I think you get in sync in practice. I don't know how the Falcons run their practice. D-Leg could probably elaborate on that more. But I can tell you one thing. I played with the Denver Broncos and Mike Shanahan. And, again, his son, Kyle Shanahan, I think they are cut from the same mold. But when I played for his dad, Mike Shanahan, practice was where everything was made. There was the way we practiced, the running backs. I remember seeing Terrell Davis basically after he break through the huddle or break through the line of scrimmage, he still ran 30 more yards. And then they would bring Mike Anderson in, and Mike Anderson would come in while Terrell is coming back. But whether it was a receiver or if you had the ball in your hand, you had to sprint, just like it was game time. And for defense, when we had to come in from the sideline to the practice to sub somebody out, we didn't jog a little bit and then walk the rest. We treated everything like game speed on game day in practice. So for me, I'm like, if you find your rhythm in practice, playing the game should be easy because it doesn't change. You're just going against other people that got different uniforms on.
Well, that's a good one there, no doubt. So we're going to go to social media here now. Mr. Turner, we're out of the segment of college football. Okay, I'm gonna let you take one more shot at Mr. Poole. Okay, you throwing a lot of shade. Well, you throw one more. You've listed all these people from the legendary teams: Geno Atkins at Florida A&M, Steve Wilson at Howard, and by the way, Mel Blount from Southern University. I think that Tyrone, I'm sure, respects all those guys, but there's no need to throw no shade, okay, at Mr. Poole. All right, he's a nice man. All right, to leave him alone. All right, let's go with another question for D-Led. Todd is saying, D-Led, I think the coach should be fired. Wow. Have mercy.
He said, man.
He said, I tell you why. He said after the New York game, the coach said, this is how we want to play. Say what?
Well, he's saying they want to play tough. They want to play better. I mean, they don't want 6 punts and I think I had a touchdown, 6 punts, and then they got a touchdown and a field goal to win it. What he meant was that they wanted to stay in the game. Like you give up a play on the first drive, they give up a 38-yard play. The Giants are going down to score. Grady comes through and gets a sack. So that pushes them back and they end up not scoring and have to get a field goal. He's talking about them fighting. you're not going to win every play. And he felt that his team fought against the Giants, and pulled it out at the end. So that was my interpretation of that. Yeah, you want to play, you want to go there and blow everybody out every Sunday, but I knew what he was talking about. He wants to play tough all the time, even though, his lines, he's got some deficiencies. His line can't block. They can't open up the holes. They have trouble in the passing game, but somehow they managed to get a win, and that's pretty tough. Now you can go back and try to work on things and try to get better, because they got to get better over the course of the year, or it's going to be a long year. And so,
I say this adding on what D-Led, he said something earlier about establishing the run and getting that yards per run up. And I firmly believe that, because first down, we're taught as defensive players to limit the offense to 0 yards, so to speak, on first down. So if they can go second and 10, it changes up the whole play calling for the offensive coordinator. So definitely they got to get that first down. First down and third down are the most important downs in football now. And now that you look at the Falcons' third down, defensively and offensively, I think they should switch these numbers up. I'm looking at stats where offensively they are 33% on third down offensively, and that's probably where the offensive coordinator does not want them to be. Defensively, they are 43%. And I know that's not where the defensive coordinator want them to be. So basically, if they can flip them numbers, I think you'll see more wins in the win column.
Yeah, I think so, man. No doubt. I mean, the magic thing is, if you're on offense, you want to get as close to 50% conversion on third downs as you can. So the fact that they're giving up 43% on defense is bad. But I will say, I think a lot of that was the way that Brady diced them up in that first game. They really have looked a lot better, to me at least, defensively in the last 2 games. So we'll have to see what they're going to improve. Tree, what would you like to see them do defensively?
I want to see them getting sacks. I want to see them hurting teams. What I loved when I was watching Super Bowl was the way that the defense shut everything down. They had the pass taken away. They had the run shut down. They shut it down. I want to see our Atlanta Falcons shut down teams with defense. But like D-Led said, we really are struggling this year. There's only so much that we can do. But the guys that are out there, I want to see them aggressive. I want to see them hungry. And I want to see them shut down teams and make great plays. Because when you start making one great play, then you can start making another great play. And then it rubs off on the whole defense. And then you're making great plays. So I know that we can only work with who we have and what we have. But I just want to see them be more hungry and shut teams down.
And then they have no interceptions. Come on now. But all that plays with the D-line and everybody putting pressure on their quarterback. So Falcons don't have no interceptions now. So we got to get them turnovers, man.
Yeah, that's very true.
See, D-Led, it's like we got both sides of defense covered. A widow of one of the greatest sack masters of all time, and then a guy who's one of our just a top DB on a stingy Patriots defense. All right, let's shift ahead now. Okay, we got to win. Now we got a Washington football team coming here that has a decent pass rush. What do the Falcons need to do, D-Led, to get another win and keep this thing going?
Well, Reverend, the Washington football team struggling right now. They should be 0-3. And their pass rush, I did the preview story. It's on AJC.com already. Looking at the team, they only have 6 sacks. And Chase Young is not playing very well. He's not getting to the quarterback. He doesn't have any sacks. Montez Sweat from Stevenson High, Stone Mountain, he's got 2. Jonathan Allen, the defensive tackle's got 3. Deron Payne, the other one, he doesn't have a sack, but he's been disruptive. Those are their first round picks that are up front that's supposed to be carrying the defense and carrying the team. But they haven't been getting to the passer. Got shredded for 43 points last week in Buffalo. They're in kind of a downward spiral right now. They're primed for the taking. Their quarterback's out. They're starting Taylor Heineke from Collins Hill High, played at ODU. Ryan Fitzpatrick's out. Antonio Gibson's a tailback from Eagles Landing, Stockbridge High, or out in Stockbridge, Eagles Landing High, and played at Memphis. Terry McLaurin's a wide receiver, good tight end. Logan Thomas, a converted he was a quarterback at Virginia Tech. So they got some weapons. Our buddy Wes Schweitzer's backing up at guard. He's not starting anymore. So I was looking for some advantages, because they will have to break down that offense. So this isn't a juggernaut coming into town. Yeah, they won the NFC East last year, but right now they should be 0-3. They won their one game against the Giants when the Giants jumped off sides on a missed field goal, and then Dustin Hopkins made the field goal at the buzzer from 43 to beat the Giants 30-29. So theoretically, you got an 0-3 team here that can't score. They get behind. They got behind 21-0 against Buffalo, and then Buffalo finished them out. So the Falcons should, they're favored by 1 point. They need to get better, though, Reverend. They got to be able to run the ball. Now, we don't need this game to be the one where Chase Young decides, okay, I'm Superman again, and then starts running the quarterback all over the stadium. So, they got to give the tackle some help over there. So that's the one thing you don't want to wake them up. They all of a sudden start remembering, hey, we're supposed to be pretty good here. Let's go after these guys. We don't need to see that happen. But if they can control that front and get them down again, maybe they go, oh, woe is me, and the Falcons can get a W on Sunday.
Well, certainly we don't want him to try to get no get back on Jalen Mayfield now, from the Ohio State days. Hopefully just kind of keep everything good right there. Or maybe Mayfield can have one of his better games since he was able to play very well against him in college. Let's go here once again to social media. Todd, once again, as he always is, taking some shots. He said, D-Led, regarding running back Mike Davis, is he hurt? Last time I saw Davis, his picture was on the back of a milk carton. He's the missing man.
Yeah, that's a little bit disrespectful there, Todd. If you've been watching the games, the kid's been running pretty hard. Not been a lot of room to run, though. So he's not Earl Campbell. He's not just going to run all over the whole defense. So he's running hard. They're getting some success outside, and they just got to keep hammering away at the run game. Maybe, get some better blocking, some better seals and so forth, and spring into daylight.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and get the stats. Okay, killing Mike Davis. The realities are he leads the Falcons in rushing. He got 137 yards in 36 attempts, just under 4 yards a carry, but hasn't had an explosive play. Really longest run from scrimmage has been 12 yards. Cordell Patterson has been streaky. He's made some big runs. He kind of is moved the chain guy on first down. He won't get you a big play there. He gets 2. But he very rarely gets hit in the backfield for a tackle for a loss. So, at this point, like you said, you can't run unless you have a line. I mean, that's really the bottom. I'm not trying to throw shades at the linemen, but they really have to do what they got to do. All right. Our good buddies from off of YouTube, our new friends, Fantasy Football GOAT Strategies, they're saying, Tyrone, big day for Calvin Ridley against Washington, yay or nay?
Yeah, you know what? I was going to ask D-Lid actually the question about Calvin Ridley, but I still think until the Falcons get that running game going, I think that offense is set up for a lot of play action to open up the receivers so that they can get behind those linebackers. That's why you do the play action. You want those linebackers to be sucked up so now you can run your routes behind them. But, if nobody's respecting the run, then it's going to be tough for those wide receivers unless you just flat out take the top off, as they say. You got that guy who can take the top off, who make the defense back up. But I think Calvin Ridley is still capable to having a breakout game yet. He hasn't had one yet, but I think he's capable. My question to D-Led, talking about Calvin Ridley and talking about the Falcons passing game, I do believe that this is a game where you got to have 3 wide receivers out there. Right now, Calvin Ridley, he is a wide receiver. Kyle Pitts, he's a hybrid in-betweener, but I wouldn't call him no wide receiver. But in order for the Falcons passing game to take that next level up, which I think will open up the running game, who do you think, besides Ridley and Kyle Pitts, need to step their game up so that'll help this offense open up even more to where Davis and Patterson can be able to run the ball more effectively?
Well, Russell Gage was out last week, and I don't think he'll be back for this one. So the next kid up is Olamide Zacchaeus, and he got 6 targets last game, caught 3 of them. He's a speedster too. He could take the top off if they get that opportunity. He had the big catch on the drive right before the half where he got hammered going across the middle for 14 yards. Then got the personal unnecessary roughness tacked on, and then he caught a 4-yard touchdown pass. So 4 for 32. That's what the Giants were giving them. They were playing cover 2 and bracketing Calvin and triple teaming Pitts from time to time. So Zacchaeus has got to step up and he should be wide open. He should be running away from his guy because if the attention's going to all those other guys, he's got to win his one-on-one matchups. And Matt Ryan was either checking it down to the running backs or and he found Zacchaeus a couple times, 3 or 6 targets, and that's the person that's got to pick up the baton and go.
And I want people to pay attention to how the Falcons are being played, how defenses are playing their offense. D-Led said something very important. The Giants played cover 2. Cover 2 is really an in-betweener defense. I'm like, if you got a good running game, you should be able to gash cover 2, so to speak. And it does pretty good against the pass. But if you got good receivers, you'll tear cover 2 up. So if teams are playing cover 2 a lot against the Falcons, then basically they're saying, we don't really have to worry about playing 3 deep, playing a cover 3, which gives you that extra man there in the box. We can beat you playing cover 2, which is a kind of a baseline defense. So, Falcons better do something to get teams out of that cover 2 if that's how they continue to play the Falcons, because this is a copycat league, and whatever one team does successfully, you're going to face it until you show them that they cannot do that against you.
Well, I think that sums it up pretty good, man. The Falcons got their work cut out for them. D-Led, you're basically saying if the key to them next week is to be able to, or this week, be able to run the ball. If they can run the ball, we can be at 2-2. If they don't, oh well.
Yeah, no question about it, Reverend. They got to be able to, because you don't want to get into a situation where you got to pass the ball, and then these first rounders are just coming. I don't want to see Montez Sweat and Chase Young meeting at the quarterback a lot. That's gonna be bad. We might see Josh Rosen or Felipe Franks by the end of the day. So you got to slow them guys down, man. And then Deron Payne, he's a load. He's a disruptive force. He's gonna be tougher to handle. So you can't really run straight at him. You got to run sideline to sideline, make them guys get tired. That's how Shanahan does. He wants you running outside the numbers on every play. And by third quarter, them big old linemen, they're tired of running sideline to sideline. And then that's when you start seeing the big runs pop. So he taught us that. We used to have meetings with Kyle here, and he's like, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do. And this big boy here, look at him. He's moving now. And let's go look at him in the third quarter. He's not coming as fast now because they done wore him down. So the Falcons got to do that. They know they can't go straight at these guys. Chris Lindstrom ain't moving Deron Payne. Jalen Mayfield's not moving Jonathan Allen. Not straight ahead, but you start running that outside zone, man, get them big boys moving. That's how you get them tired and start hitting the big runs.
Well, last question here from social media. We get ready to wrap it up. Of course, Todd, last question today. He said, D-Led, I'm in the doghouse. He said, I know that. He said, well, just one last question. When will Matt throw a deep ball?
When they run the ball and bring the defenders up, then he will throw the deep ball. They're not coming up. They're dropping back and saying, hey, you can have a check down. And that's what he's taking. He's over 3 on passes of 20 yards or more going into this game, but he hit a couple. He hit the Pitts late, 25. That was up the field. The Cordarrelle was a side, a screen out to the side. But the Pitts play to win the game was maybe his first completion of 20 yards or more this year.
No doubt. All right, D-Led, how we do it as we get ready to wrap up. We like everybody to know what you're doing and where you're doing it at. So, D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Reverend. You can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC. The website is ajc.com. And you can find me on Instagram at DOrlandoLed. We got
There you go, right there.
Full-Time Chronicles podcast coming out at 8 a.m. on ajc.com, and then the Cover 9 at 9 blog tomorrow morning, Wednesday, every week at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
There you go, guys. I got there right there for you. There's the ticker, ajc.com. And there he is, D. Orlando Led on Instagram and D. Orlando AJC at Twitter. All right, D. Led, until next week. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you too. And God bless the group.
All right, D. Led.
Let's get everything right here. We got it. There we go. And let's get that off the screen because I have to go to. Okay, is it always a big joke? I mean, when I make us. Oh, all right. Anyway, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
I'm about to make a joke, man, but you know what? I'm giving you time to put my social media stuff up there. But people can follow me on all social medias, Tyrone Poole 38.com. So I'm so
yeah. You made an error. Ha ha ha. Yeah, gotcha.
See, man, you don't sit that energy over here, man. I get rid of that energy now.
Gotcha.
Energy, man. But,
oh man, right, there it is, right there. Is that Tyrone Poole 38?
Tyrone Poole 38.
Follow me. All right, until next week, Tyrone. God bless.
All right, God bless you guys.
Bye, Tyrone.
All right, the lovely Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to say, yes, my Detroit Lions lost, but my Minnesota Vikings won. So, Skol Vikings. And you can find me on all social media at It's Latresa and Ms. America International 2020.
See, yo, I got Miss Dolman right, didn't I? Ha ha ha. All right, guys. You know me. I'm the Minister Jonathan Simmons. You can follow me and the show on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J Sim. Also, if you want to reach us, hit me up with an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or simply give me a call on the cell 678-410-9833. All right, guys, before I leave, I always ask you the same question. Do you know the Lord Jesus Christ is your personal Savior? That's how you have a relationship with the God of the universe. And it's really easy. Number one, repent of your sins. Number two, believe that Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, his government name, came here fully man and fully God. And he did something spectacular. He took all the sins, past, present, and future of all mankind, and then he died on the cross. And when he died on the cross, that was the one-time sacrifice for all of that. But good news, he rose from the dead. And when he rose from the dead, he had the ability to give you and I salvation for absolutely free. Repent of those sins, believe in him, and here's what happens. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adoptive child of God with all the rights therein. That means you can go to God yourself. That's right, the maker of the heaven and earth, yourself, asking for anything that you need or desire in prayer in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, and God will grant it to you according to his will. And number two, when you leave this earth, you go to the happiest place ever imagined. That place is called heaven, where there's no pain, no pandemic, no problems, no bad people, no death at all, and no pain. And guess what? You get to see all those folks that you love so much that are gone on before you. And most of all, you get to see the one who set it up for you himself, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, face to face. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven are not in hell. So you got pain, you got problems, you got death, you got bad smells, and you have darkness. And most of all, you're cut off from God forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until next week, God bless you and have a spectacular rest of your evening or the rest of your day if you're watching on replay. So long.
Bye.